Yeah, let's go into something more. I don't know if we should talk about music improvisation. I'm gonna mention it fast. If you learn this, it will probably help you as an improviser. Um, if you study a lot of scales, you know, the modal scales and the symmetrical scales, um, think like this: use all 12 notes. Don't eliminate a note. We're talking about jazz now. I mean, if you're talking about classical music, for instance, there's more rules and more stuff that you have to be thinking about to get that kind of sound. But I'm talking about as an improviser, even if any instrument or anything. A lot of, and I say, study Charlie Parker. Uh, he helped me the most, I would say, more than um, like books and cl- classes or anything. Just play him. You will start to see patterns all around, and his chromaticism is really good. When people do lesson in jazz, they limit you a lot. That's my experience anyway. It's better to play Charlie Parker because it's very logical. You will start to see the patterns that he uses, and you don't have to play it at the speed that he does. It's pretty difficult. If you're a guitarist, you need to learn harmonization more, and that I can recommend Wes Montgomery. Look at what he did. You don't need to learn a lot of more than that. I would say also use two positions, the bass on the sixth string and then bass on the fifth string. Basically, the harmony you don't use a lot of. Sometimes Wes Montgomery started with the fourth string, for instance, but if you learn either the fifth string or the sixth string, even if it's the fifth position, the fourth position, the third position, learn those two. And in jazz, they usually start with the scale from the pinky finger, pretty much. So just let's say you play an F, you're gonna start with F here on the eighth fret. You don't start with here. That's how you phrase it more into what jazz did used to do. Uh, then Hendrix came and the blues sound, which is of course only the box. You start with here with the ring finger and play the pentatonics. That's what all guitarists learn. But if you want to get a different sound and hit other notes, it's easier to start from this. We're talking about the blues sound now, or minor, or even major, I think. Yeah, major and C. I don't like to play in the. It's called, if you study at Musicians Institute, they call it the fourth position. So you'll start with this finger and play up and down like old Kirk Hammett solos or Jimi Hendrix solos or pretty much any rock solo that you ever heard in your life is based on that. I haven't really gone there. It's the same. It's that in that box. The pentatonic, penta means five, so it's five notes. It comes from the minor scale from classical music. You can play that too. They do that as well to get that kind of sound. But when you play a long time, you start to get bored with that. You want to find other patterns. So how to create these patterns? I would say it's triads. Triads is very, very common in jazz. Don't underestimate that. And sequences, but not so much. You don't need to practice scales up and down, up and down. I don't think so. You're not going to play maybe and then you're going to break it into a triad or something. Make it more interesting with adding harmony if you're a guitarist, piano player. I don't like the thirds. In classical music, it's very common. But it get kind of boring after a while. So a lot of harmony I do on the guitar I use in fourths and seconds. If you watch my solos, that's more for an outside.